Okay guys, this is Grimm's Gaming. We're here playing Persona 3. Unfortunately, this is not the FES version. I bought it back before it was popular enough to see the re-release on the FES version. So we're going to be playing the original PS2 version. To be honest, my personal favorite is the PSP release of it, but I only own that in Japanese, so
yeah, it might be difficult.
Don't really think you guys will enjoy that as much. It adds a girl protagonist, which is kind of interesting.
The end will come.
Do you remember the night you came here? You had to have noticed the signs.
What?
Didn't it feel like you were in a different time? That's the dark hour. We'd like you to lend us your strength.
A machine is created for a purpose. Mine is to defeat you.
Fate permitted me to live.
Shut up!
You might say I was chosen.
I've made up my mind. I won't let you do this to her anymore!
Only a select few wield the power of a persona. And the Dark Hour is a frontier that is ours alone to explore.
There's no telling what will happen if we don't do something about the shadows.
That makes you all hypocrites.
Said shut up!
Don't look up.
We call them shadows.
Yeah, so what?
What was that? I want to protect you.
To truly live, you will need to make changes sometimes.
The time has come for you to wield your power. Going forward, there is one thing you mustn't forget. You must accept your destiny.
Shall we begin?
Midnight's just around the corner.
Alright, so that's the promo trailer. If you want to skip it, we'll see if we can't throw a little annotation clip in that lets you skip to the actual gameplay.
Yeah, so I've never played any of the Persona games. I don't even really know anything about them, so this should be interesting.
They have some staples. Like, to be honest, so I started playing Persona, the original one, and I couldn't really get into it. It's too much it's got too much of the first-person dungeon crawler feel to it. Which, I mean, I understand you liked Etrian Odyssey. Like, it's got that vibe to it, but to be honest, I don't know. It just didn't really strike that chord with me. But anyway, Persona 3 and Persona 4 are like the same engine, same basic game structure.
I like that it had that disclaimer right there. That was kind of funny.
Persona 4 got better reviews, and the primary reason was, in my opinion, that the pacing was adjusted to give you more motivation to do things day to day, more motivation to dungeon crawl day to day, and so it encouraged you to follow a good pacing. Whereas Persona 3 falls into like you just have to do X by the end of the month, X by the end of the month, X by the end of the month, and you pick what to do. And so it doesn't really give you
a whole lot of guidance.
And it's not necessarily that it doesn't give
restriction.
you guidance, it doesn't really give you motivation is more what it does. Like,
Gotcha.
another big difference was that in Persona 3, the original one, you can only control the main character, you can't control anybody else, which a lot of people didn't like. I thought it was an interesting mechanic, but I still do think it's a better game when you can control them all.
Yeah.
So, all of the re-releases, I don't know if FES did it, but I know the PSP version, you can control all the characters. Ultimately, another thing that they changed from Persona 3 to 4 is the developers got a lot of feedback saying that the characters from Persona 3 were too mature to be considered a legitimate high school cast.
Gotcha.
And so they went to Persona 4, they made them a little bit more believable on a 16, 17-year-old level, which, to be honest, I didn't like. I don't want to watch a game about a bunch of 17-year-olds that act like 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
I greatly preferred the more mature, like, college mentality cast of Persona 3. So, I love Persona 3. It's one of my favorite games.
Part of the, like, Shin Megami Tensei group of games, right?
Yeah, it's the full title is Shin Megami Tensei which is the true goddess. I can't remember what Tensei stands for. I'm pretty sure 10
The
is
heavenly world, maybe? I don't know what the kanji
maybe.
are.
I'm pretty sure 10 is heaven and say might be world. I'm not sure. Persona series is one of the staple Shin Megami Tenseis.
Uh-huh.
Like, after the core Shin Megami Tensei games, I would probably say Persona is the next one in terms of, like, relevance to the overall franchise.
World, yeah, franchise, okay.
After that, they branch out. They've got, like, the Digital Devil Saga. They've got the Devil Summoner games. They have the Nocturne. Nocturne was an interesting one.
Yeah, I
all on
remember
its own.
seeing the names of some of them, and it's like 4 names in the title.
Yeah. I'd like to try and play through Nocturne. I've never actually beaten it. It's a super interesting game. Has a cameo from Dante, Devil May Cry. So here we have our main character.
Eyes kind of look dead. Yay, blood. Here's that water. And... oh, I thought it was like a house. Maybe it's a hotel?
You're late. I've been waiting a long time for you.
He's kind of
Now,
supposed to
if
be
you
creepy.
want to proceed,
Especially when you find out who
please
he
sign
is.
your name there. It's a contract. Don't worry. All it says is that you'll accept full responsibility for your actions. You know, the usual stuff.
The usual stuff. Alright. What's our last name? It's... oh, we're just gonna go with Grimm's.
Yeah, why not?
Alright, well that makes sense. What?
Come on.
What's that other one for?
How do I delete? Pause.
Alright, well.
B.
Grimm's B.
That's a terrible Japanese last name.
Yeah. Grimm's.
Grimm's isn't that bad.
Grimm's.
I've heard worse.
Baron. Baron. You'd pronounce it like it's Spanish. And...
No one can escape time. It delivers us all to the same end.
You thought he was
can't plug
creepy,
your
and then
ears
look at
cover
his
your
eyes.
yeah. He's like, oh, he just made the contract disappear.
And so
And
it
then summoned the
begins.
power of darkness. We should probably cast Magic Missile.
Who's there?
And... I think she's the one that was pointing the gun at her own head earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I like that character design.
For Mitsuru.
That one.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that okay? Mitsuru. Is she
Kirijo
one of the
senpai.
ones that we can date? I heard we could date in this game.
Yeah, you can date her. But you can't date her until like the end of the game because you have to have
didn't
max
think you'd
intelligence
arrive so
or like max
Gotcha.
smarts before you can start.
My
Wait,
name
her
is
hair's
Mitsuru
red now?
Kirijo.
Yeah, it was red
I'm
in,
one of the
in the
students
scene.
who live in the storm.
Who's he?
He's a transfer student. It was a last-minute decision to assign him here. He'll eventually be moved to a room in the boys' dorm.
Oh, so
Is
we're
it okay for him
we're
to be
living
here?
in the girls' dorm, huh?
I guess we'll see.
That
This is Yukari Takeba.
No, we're not in the girls' dorm. We're in a special building right now. We're not in either
She'll
of the
be a
dorms.
junior this spring.
We're here
Gotcha.
temporarily until we get a spot in the dorms. They didn't
Hey.
specify that, but
Why do you have a gun?
I think we have to ask this.
we
because-
we do need to
No,
ask it.
it's not, but How should I explain it?
Unlike the other buildings, this one's co-ed. It's not your typical dorm, though. I'll explain it to you later when I get a chance.
Didn't we just
Getting
ask
late,
for an
so you should
explanation
get
right
some
now?
rest.
We don't deserve an explanation yet.
Your room's on the second
Apparently.
floor at the end of the hallway. Your things should already be there.
This game, you don't fight for. Well, they
Oh,
do
I'll
give
show
you
the
one
way.
fight earlier
Follow
on.
me.
To be honest, I was always apprehensive about like the dungeon crawling in this game. Like I was always like apprehensive about going into the dungeon.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. That's one of the reasons why I think the whole like pacing in Persona 4 was a lot better, because it made you feel a lot less apprehensive about going in.
Gotcha.
This is it. Pretty easy to remember, huh? Since it's right at the end of the hall. Oh yeah, make sure you don't lose your key, or you'll never hear the end
My
of it.
freshman year, I lived
So,
in the second
any
to last
questions?
door in our hallway, and there are like 15 rooms on each side or something.
What are we asking? What's that contract for? Does the kid live here too?
That kid's creepy,
What kid? What are you talking
but
about?
like
Come on,
one
it's
night
not
I was
funny.
feeling really sick, and the guys in my hall were being really loud, so I couldn't sleep. So I step outside my dorm room, and I was just
can I
like,
ask
"Hey
you
guys,
something?
can you quiet down for a little bit? Like, can you quiet
on the way
down?
here
I'm trying
from
to
the
sleep."
station.
And they're like, "Oh yeah,
Is
sure, man."
everything okay?
Then my door closed behind me, reached into my pants, and I realized I'd left my key in my room, and I was just like, "Oh,
You know what I...
and dropped that F-bomb right in the middle of the hall. It was like super loud too. And so like the whole hall goes silent, and I was just like,
Just for a little bit of context here, we attend Brigham Young University. It's a Mormon university, so
dropping the F-bomb has quite the impact.
to say the least. So that's one of the reasons we don't swear so much. We swear
Never mind.
maybe more than no, I don't.
Not that much.
About your average Mormon, I would say. Maybe a
Yeah.
little bit more than the average.
Yeah, maybe a little more than the average.
I don't know. Basically, take the Mormons that you know, and then you can rate us against them.
It seems
Yeah,
like you're
If we
alright.
swear a lot, we swear a lot. We don't really ever drop the F-bomb.
Yeah,
We'll say damn, hell.
yeah. But yeah,
Well,
so
better get
because
going.
my room was like the second to last one, I had to walk down the whole hall, like after dropping the F-bomb with like to go talk to
you
the
still have
RA
other
to get him to let me
questions,
back in
but
my
let's save them
room.
for
So I had
later.
to
I think
run.
you told me this. It wasn't you that was coming out of the showers when this happened, were you?
No.
So you were like, because somebody told me a story that was similar. They had to like
Good
go to the
night.
RA to get into their room, but they were like stark naked, just a towel. I guess that's not stark naked, but
Yeah. Naked is stark usually involves a woman too.
touche. Okay, so the game starts on April 7th, or April 6th technically, because that was yesterday. Well, no, because it was April 7th because it was past midnight.
Yeah.
So the game starts on April 7th, just past
morning.
midnight. Like the clock
Did you sleep
strikes
okay?
to midnight, and that's when the game starts.
So we have 13 days.
No, it
Sorry,
actually
asked me
you
to
have a
take you
year.
to school.
A
It's
year.
getting
Huh?
late, so are you ready to go?
Sure,
Okay,
I'm ready to
then
go.
let's go.
With a babe like you, why not?
Why not Wabuffe?
So that's it. See, there it is.
You know, our character looks kind of creepy too.
The character design. So I read a little bit on the. My copy of the game came with a little like art book with some of the concept art, and they had some original sketches for him, and eventually they discarded them because they felt like the character had a little bit too much personality in the design. And since he's a silent protagonist, and the idea is that you're the main character, they wanted to take a little bit of that personality out of him and make him a little bit more of a neutral character that you could throw yourself into,
Gotcha.
to where you could go any direction. I still think he ended up a little bit more emo
Yeah.
You
than,
should go see your homeroom
but
teacher
maybe that's
first.
just the time period that the game came out. A lot of
The
kids were.
faculty office
Yeah.
is right there to the left.
They did a good job of actually making him look like a
And
17-year-old.
that concludes the tour. Do you have
Which class are you in?
me? I don't know. I haven't looked at the classroom assignments yet. Hey,
Ain't nobody
about
got
last
time
night,
for that.
don't tell anyone what you saw.
I say that a lot. I need
See
to
you
work
later.
on a new catchphrase. Need to pick something else to say all the time.
By cracky.
Cracky!
If any of you ever have the time to watch our Star Ocean one, there's some awesome moments in the Star Ocean.
Mostly because of terrible translations.
So far, I would say that's the majority of like, oh man,
The
can I-
really great moments. Can't move the camera freely.
I want to invert it. Why
Isn't
did I have to
there-
get used to non-inverted controls? Like, why is that never
I
the
like how we
default?
can see into the bathroom before we even go in there. Can
If
you...
it sounds well, we could have sequels. Be like bathroom trick.
Well,
Trip.
the first one would be like simple, and it would be like normal, like public-sized urinals,
Are you
right?
the new student?
And then like you gotta do like more exotic style.
You have to
bathrooms.
like balance like you get like the Japanese ones where it's got like the seat heaters. You've got the like flushing sound to like mask the sounds that you're making while you're in there. Because you can actually get that in some of the Japanese ones. They have like little like noises that you can make the toilet start making noise. So it's supposed to mask the sound of you doing your business.
Japan.
But like you could have like gauges of like other people's like
I'm Miss Toriumi.
interest
I
in
teach
what you're
composition.
doing in the bathroom. You have to like there'd be some extra mechanics, man.
Have you seen
Can we
classroom
date the teacher?
assignments? But
No,
first,
that'd kinda be
we need
cool,
to go
though.
to the auditorium. The welcoming ceremony will be starting.
The only people that you can date are actually your age.
Gotcha.
Another thing that I actually like, and call me a prude for this, but I actually like the fact that in Persona 1, there are less sexually suggestive characters than in Persona 2, and than in Persona 4. Did I say Persona 1? Persona 3, they're less sexually suggestive.
When applied to student
And-
life, this
So we don't have to worry about it getting weird with like children, like Artanelico.
Yeah, no, we're not going to get any Artanelico junk.
Yeah.
But like in Persona 4, there's like a character that's totally like meant to be a sex object.
Mm-hmm.
Like this teacher, and I'm just like,
I saw you
I don't
two
know, I'm
walking
kind of
together.
annoyed by it.
Yeah.
Like, call me a
I have
prude
a
over
question.
it, but I think it's just like
Do you know if she
silly.
has a boyfriend?
Uh huh.
She does. It's me.
Man, I mean, why wouldn't she? Wait, how well do you know her?
I believe it's someone in Ms. Toriumi's class.
Oh.
I guess we're sitting in classes. That would be really
Yeah.
weird if we
We're going
weren't,
to
and
get
he
new
guessed that.
In high school, you're still assigned to a homeroom.
Yeah.
Is my
Like
understanding.
in the-
I never did attend Japanese high school, and I didn't really interact with too many people on like a daily basis to know what their high school schedules were like or anything like that. I mean, I talked with high schoolers, but not enough to really know. Most of the time, like if a high schooler saw somebody that looked like me, who's big, tall, and white, well, skinny, tall, and white, but if they saw a tall white guy, they just sat there gawking. They were like, "Oh," and then they started doing stupid things to try and impress me because that's what 16, 17-year-olds do. They do
Yeah.
stupid things to impress people.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Oh, come on. Let me introduce myself.
This is the
please.
guy that was asking about the chick earlier,
I'm
maybe?
Junpei
No, this is a
Iori.
different guy.
Nice to meet you. I transferred here when I was in 8th grade. I know how tough it is being
So the
new.
character designer actually created this character, and he says,
Someone
Junpei, of all the
say,
characters
"Hey,
in this one, I feel like
See what
Junpei
a nice guy I am?
is the one that I wanted to be like the most like you would relate to him if you were like that age.
She's apparently a peninsula.
At it again, huh? I
What?
swear you'll talk to anyone.
He called her
if they'll listen.
Yucatan. She's a Mexican peninsula.
Did you ever think you might be bothering someone?
She doesn't look Mexican.
What? But I was just being friendly.
If you say so. Anyway, it looks like we're in the same homeroom.
It must be fate.
Oh yeah.
Fate? Yeah, right. Still, I'm a little surprised.
Hello? Are you forgetting that I'm in this class too? By the way, I heard you two came to school together this morning. What's up with that? Come on, give me the dirt.
What are you talking about?
So this is kind of
We
more
live
of
in
like
the
a
same dorm. There's
a
nothing going
hole,
on, okay?
so to speak,
Why
in the
are
game.
people
But the
talking
badge
about
that
it?
Junpei's wearing, if I
Why
remember
have you
wearing,
The...
the badge that he's wearing, I'll kind
You
of
didn't say anything to anyone.
bring it up when it shows his character again. I want to stay on our good side. Although, to be honest, I don't really think it measures this again. Like
Seriously,
it,
don't
the dating
say
sim
anything
aspects of the
about last
game
night,
are very
alright?
strictly like limited to when you're on a date with them. Like your
Gotcha.
relationships with them aren't really affected outside.
That was a great face.
I'm just picturing Ego Raptor like Girl Chan in Paradise.
That explains everything.
Wait a minute! Don't get the wrong idea! Listen! I just met him yesterday, and there's absolutely nothing between us. Gee,
Just met him
I've gotta
yesterday,
go.
huh?
I've got something to take care of for the archery team. But you better not start any rumors.
You do also do like the dating
Who
sim
cares?
things are not
No
strictly
one
with
takes rumors
girls.
seriously anyway.
Okay.
That's not to say that there's like homosexual relationships. They're called social links, and you develop them with multiple
But hey,
people. Like
it's your first
there's a
day here,
dog,
people are
and
already talking about you.
I can't remember. if it's
Social
this-
link with a dog.
I think there's in this one. I think
alright.
it's this one that has the social link with the dog.
Dogs are man's best friend.
This is gonna be a fun year. I can feel it.
Oh yeah, I see the badge, like the BMW.
Yes. Okay. So this
looking thing.
this badge, the BMW looking badge, the chopper through the black
Yeah.
sky is right there.
Yeah.
That badge is, if I remember right, it's the C's badge, which is the club that the party eventually makes. Like they make their own club. That has to do with their group of people that are exploring this dungeon.
Gotcha.
But he's not a member of that club yet. So he shouldn't be wearing the badge, if that's what that is. If I remember right, I think that's the badge.
What will you do?
Okay, I feel like that's a good intro to the game. We haven't really done any fighting yet. That should be in the next episode. Like, we've mentioned this in another Let's Play. I never feel like a game is officially started until, like, it introduces the battle mechanics.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and take a break here and resume with probably the first battle and some other stuff in episode 2. Thanks for watching. See you guys there.
This is Kelsier Zero.
Oh, we never introduced ourselves. Yeah, we'll go ahead and close with that. So I'm Baron Grims. This is Kelsier Zero, or I go by Curtis, and he goes by Shark. Well, we call him Shark. We'll see you guys next episode.
Peace.